Hi, everybody. I thought it would be a great idea to do something called a case study of one company that is existing on the stock market today in India. Because I realize sometimes you got to really understand how a company works and what its fundamentals are like before you can invest in it. And so I thought of picking up a company that a lot of us know really well, and it is Vodafone. Okay, so today, Vodafone is a company that is involved in a heavy three-way battle with Bharti Airtel and Reliance Jio in the telecommunications market in in India. And you would notice that the price of Vodafone today is about 4 rupees. See that if we were to take up the charts, you would notice that this is where Vodafone is today. Right? Uh, Vodafone is at 4 rupees today. It used to trade at as high as 118, 100, sorry, 109, 108 5 years ago. And then later on it came down. You can see that over the last 5 years, this share price has come down again and again and again. It's now at about 4% of what it was 5 years ago. Why is this, and what is the reason, and why am I taking this up? I know a lot of people, a lot of friends who keep telling me, hey, why don't we invest in Vodafone, because Vodafone, it's only 4 rupees now, and if it goes up, like say if it goes to 12 rupees, we will make a lot of money. That's a great thought, but the only problem with that is that the likelihood of Vodafone getting to 12 rupees is the likelihood of me becoming 45 kilos. Okay, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I'd love for it to happen, but I don't think it'll happen. And so the premise that a company like Vodafone, which is only 4 rupees, so it's not a huge investment. What if it becomes 12 rupees the next year or the year after that? Is a pipe dream that a lot of people go after on the stock market these days because they want to make a quick buck. But I want you to know that that doesn't really happen, especially when it comes to penny stocks, because we could classify today Vodafone technically, even though it's a very large market, it has a very large market cap. It is technically behaving like a penny stock these days. So let's look at what happened to Vodafone. Okay. Now, I use a site called screener.in, and you can see from here that one of the reasons why we invest into a company would be because it is growing. Okay, but here you can see that the return on the capital employed is negative. The return on equity is negative. There is no earnings per share because your profit is negative. There is no profit, and so this is a struggle for this company. It has huge liabilities, and so I'm going to show you where the struggle has started from and how we should avoid it. Right. So if you notice something, this struggle started somewhere actually between 2017 and 2018. And that's exactly the time frame when Reliance Jio entered the market. The moment Reliance entered the market, all of these competitors started doing something. They started cutting prices left, right, and center. They wanted to maintain their market share. And so they started giving things away. And it hit their profitability, it hit their long term ability to run their businesses. And it has been a downhill run ever since, as you can see, 108, 68, 70s, and all the way down to 4. Now let's look at this deeper. What one thing that stands out in a company that is struggling are always its cash flows, and cash flow is very important to understand. If we can figure out what is the issue with cash flows, we will see that these companies are going on. So let's look at cash flow. There are three ways cash flow can come. It can come through operating activity, it can come through investing activity, it can come from financing activity. Operating activity is very simple. From within itself, the company is generating income, and that's operating activity. Investing activity would be things like where it's investing into other companies or other things, and it's purchasing fixed assets, capital goods, capital equipment, and or selling those. Those are areas where you will see investing activity, and financing activity is where most of it is from borrowing, repayment of the borrowings, proceeds from selling shares, dividends paid. Now let's look at this. Okay, this is very, very clear cut. Let's concentrate on first the cash flows. You can see that the cash flows for Idea, Vodafone Idea has dramatically from 2017. Okay, you can see from 2008 It's been growing 2,300 crores, 2,800 crores, 3,500 crores, 3,800 to a high of 12,200 crores in 2016. And the company was doing great. What happened after that? You can see that it has reduced by almost 80%. The amount of profit from the operations. And this is simply because all these companies started cutting their prices. They started cutting their prices left, right, and center, and they wanted to try to get as much market share as possible at the cost of their own profitability, at the cost of their own longevity. Okay. And so that is the struggle you can see from the operating activities. Now look at the financing activities. I want to look at this part because you see that Vodafone has started borrowing a lot. You can see that in the beginning it was about 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 8,000. Okay, I know these are huge numbers for us, but till 2016, 2015, those weren't significant numbers. But if you look at now, for example, 2016, they only borrowed 1,500. They were in a good position and their borrowings were low. But from that time onwards, they have borrowed almost 20, 22,000 crores just to get into this price war and try to win against Geo and Airtel. And this has cost them. You can see that not only have not only have they been borrowing more, the amount that they had to pay back has gone up. So the interest rate, you can see how till 2016, the interest that they used to pay was not that huge. It was less than 1,000, somewhere between 500 to 1,000 crores a year. But now they've been in the last 3 years because they've been borrowing a lot. The cost of borrowing has gone up for them, and so in the last 3 years they have paid a huge interest just to pay back for their borrowings. And you can also see they used to give out dividends between 2013 and 2017. That has stopped. Okay. Now let's go back and see, how what's happening here. So let's look at EPS, earnings per share, and the sales and expenses and all that. You can see that actually sales has increased, okay, over time, sort of, but so has expenses. In fact, expenses have shot up. What are these expenses? A lot of it has to do with the fact that they are putting money into cutting for, the amount that they're paying into investing to keep up with the other companies is costing them. Okay, you can see that they have been, the EPS has been going down. They used to earn a profit all the way till 2016, 2017. But after that, ever since the competition has earnings per share has been negative. And this is a shocker. If you look at the return on equity for the last, you can see it's constantly decreasing. You can see that the CAGR has been constantly decreasing. These are worrying signs for any company, for any investor interested in investing in such a company. Now let me show you balance sheets, and this is where we would see a stunner. If you look at cash reserves were growing till March 2019. Of course, we know that the Supreme Court ordered that all these companies would have to pay a huge amount, and for Vodafone that meant around 55,000 crores. And you can see how that difference has. They had a cash reserve of almost 50,000 crores, and suddenly that has to be put in escrow because of the judgment. And so suddenly this company is in trouble. Now I want you to know that Vodafone is a great company. Okay? But it is not a company that I would choose to invest. Why? It is because when I look at the numbers, when I look at the figures, I realize this company is a company that's in trouble. When its return on equity is not increasing, when its return on capital employed is not increasing, when its earnings per share is going south instead of coming up, I want you to know that this is a company. Of course, people always say, "Hey, there's news. There's rumors that Vodafone UK would put in money," and they did. Yesterday, they put in some money. But I want you to know that that is not a cure-all for all of these. They still have the competition. They still have the price-cutting measures that all these main companies are employing in this market. And as long as all of that exists, I don't think the telecom industry or sector is a great place to invest all the time, because if you invest in, say, Idea Vodafone, or a Bharti Airtel or even a Jio, because I know Facebook just bought 10% of Reliance Jio, uh, and that really helped Reliance because Reliance is also was driving up its debt, and so these are concerns that are systemic to the sector itself, and so I wouldn't invest into a company like Vodafone. If I did, that would me be making a very bad mistake. Would it increase to 12 rupees? I don't think so. Could it possibly? Maybe it can. But based on the numbers that I can see, I don't think so. So this is my thought. I have no issues against Vodafone. I have no problems, with Vodafone. I am not at all connected to Vodafone or to any of these other companies in any other way. I just want to make a very impartial statement here to let you know that based on the numbers that I see, fundamentally, I don't think Vodafone is a great company to invest in. Uh, but I do hope and I sincerely do pray that somehow they will turn it around because we do need our telecom companies to be strong, and we cannot afford to have just a monopolistic uh, environment in such an industry or a sector. And so it's important that for the Indian economy and for the Indian telecommunications sector, that Vodafone, survives and thrives. But as an investor, looking at it from the fundamentals, it's not a stock I would enter. All right. So if you have any companies that you'd like me to do a case study on, I can run it through the numbers and I can put it up on a video. Let me know, and I will certainly do it. Here at Kingdom Wealth Creators, we'd love to add value to your investments, and by helping you. Okay? I hope this helps people. I know a lot of people, really love Vodafone, an idea, because we've been loyal customers of them. But I want you to understand, just because you have that relationship with the company doesn't mean you necessarily have to invest in the company. And let me end with this, okay? This is shocking. If you were to look at how much they themselves have invested, you can see way back in 2018 June, okay, the promoters had about 42% in the company. Uh, in September 2018, they infused a little amount of a lot of money. They bought back shares. They had 71%. But I want you to know, September 2018 and today is April 2020. That number has not increased by much. So if the promoters themselves are not willing to invest in their own company, because right now the prices are way down. Most promoters tend to buy back the shares, okay, because it is the added mechanism to increase their investments. But you will notice in Vodafone they have not. That is giving you a clue. When the owners of the company itself probably are worried about investing back into the company, why should and that's that I would like to end over there with that note. I want you to know that before we invest in any company, make sure that you know the fundamentals, you understand how this company is doing, whether it's growing before you invest. And if you invest right, you will definitely reap the rewards.